a trailblazer in fashion and entrepreneurship. The founder of Aaniin, a clothing brand that celebrates Indigenous language and culture. She's now on a mission to help build thriving Indigenous-owned businesses. Everyone, please welcome Chelsee Pettit. Sorry, Chelsee! I'm so excited that you're here. How are you?
I am so good. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay, first off, before we get into this, you were telling me over the break what Aaniin means. Can you tell me what that means?
Yes, Aaniin is actually how you say hello in Anishinaabe or Ojibwe language.
Okay, that's fantastic. That's amazing. Can you tell us a little bit about what inspired the brand?
Yeah, I was actually just walking in the street in downtown Toronto, and I thought I saw somebody wearing Indigenous syllabics on their shirt. Right away, I felt this overwhelming sense of inclusion being in the city for the first time, and I just wanted to run up and ask this person, what did it say? What language was it in? And then obviously, where could I get one?
Yeah.
But as I got closer, I realized it was just a triangle.
Oh, okay.
So from there, I started a drop shipping website. I did $3,000 in my first week, so I shut it down, and I just ran with it from there. Fast forward 4 years later, we've done over $2.5 million in sales.
Oh my gosh.
I work with other Indigenous brands and businesses as Canada's first Indigenous department store concept.
Yeah.
And yeah, last year we did a pop-up in the Eaton Centre over the holiday season.
That's absolutely huge. Like, I cannot deal with what a big deal that is. Now, you've said that, just kind of like what you were saying, you've said that your clothing line was just that starting point, that you've always seen yourself as having this bigger mission of creating Indigenous entrepreneurs. Why is that so important to you?
So when I got started, you know, I had the same aspirations as most clothing brand designers, where I was like, I'm gonna be like the next Nike. Yeah. So immediately I just started to think like, well, if that did happen, then where would I belong? And I didn't see myself in any other retailers. So I just thought to myself, I have over 10 years in retail management experience. I was like, all I need is products, a place, and a good brand, and I can sell anything. Yeah. So I started, you know, taking my skill set and putting it into Aaniin Retail Inc., which is an Indigenous department store concept. And we also have our online store, Aaniin.shop.
That's absolutely fantastic. Now, when you're kind of bringing all of those different brands together, what is that selection process like? I know there are clearly a lot of Indigenous creators and makers, but how is it that you go about choosing and selecting those people?
At first, I started just bringing everybody that I could possibly talk to into the store. I quickly realized it's not profitable or sustainable long term. So I had to start, you know, building out boundaries and creating systems and processes in order to actually get people in through the door. I always say that it's basically like trying to get like millions of people through a single file door. It's like we can't just like shove each other through. We have to line up in single file. So essentially the way that I've started to do that now is you know, it's gone through many metamorphoses. Some of the times I've been working as consignment, which means that you pay after you've already been making sales to vendors. At that point, I had too many vendors, and I was spending my entire time doing accounting.
100%.
So I basically was like, okay, I can't do that this way. I need to switch to wholesale. And that's when I started needing to take more profits. But not all the brands have good profit margins. So I've had to really downsize the amount of brands that can participate at certain stages. But last year at the pop-up, we had 65 Indigenous brands and businesses.
Wow.
This year, it's going to look more like, you know, 15 to 20. But what we're really trying to really push through is that we're trying to focus on like what a thriving Indigenous retail space looks like when everybody is profiting. So, you know, this is the goal this year is to reduce the amount of vendors that we have, but it's because we want more vendors that are actually able to take on the capacity next year and the years after.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Now, what do you see as the biggest challenge when it comes to an Indigenous person becoming an entrepreneur in kind of any field, but in particular in fashion?
Yeah, it honestly is kind of like, it's like your business is as rich as you are. So if you aren't very wealthy, if you don't have, you know, financial stability, neither does your business. So that's one thing that I really did have to learn very early on as an Indigenous entrepreneur. When I was 20, I actually got myself into $70,000 of debt. And, you know, I had an awakening where I realized what that meant, and I quickly paid it off in 4 years. I was working 3 different multiple minimum wage jobs. Building my way up through the ranks as a store manager, doing everything I could to pay that down, and I paid it off in 4 years. So I was able to, you know, start my business when I was 26, debt-free.
That's amazing.
And I would not have been able to build it to what I've been able to build it to today if I still had debt. So I always encourage like Indigenous entrepreneurs and any entrepreneur in general to focus on their own financial responsibility and goals, because at the end of the day, you're the one signing these agreements, and if you don't have credibility to your name, like obviously people have different relationships with money,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, that's your responsibility as the business owner.
Yeah.
So if you're not taking it seriously, then you're not going to have a business to operate long term.
Totally. Now, I'm going back to something you said earlier on. You talked about when you saw that shirt that you thought might have Indigenous syllabics on
Yes.
it. You talked about seeing that and immediately feeling included.
Yeah.
Is that something that you're hoping that what you are doing is going to bring to other people?
Yeah, I mean, even last year, I'm starting to get goosebumps too, because when I first had that aha moment,
Yeah.
I saw the retail space. I saw the brand in its entirety of like, employing Indigenous youth, having other Indigenous brands in a retail space. And, it's crazy to me that 4 years ago, I saw that when I was just walking in the street after I had that exact moment just for a t-shirt.
Yeah.
But then I actually created it last year where people did walk into the Eaton Center and see an Indigenous retail space with Indigenous staff and Indigenous products
Yeah.
and like all of the above. And it's just really crazy because, the youth, they're going to be coming into these stores and pop-ups and hopefully permanent locations one day and not even know what it has to not exist.
Totally.
So yeah, so I think it's happening.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just really crazy to see, knowing it was just like an idea in my head 4 years ago.
It's absolutely amazing what you have accomplished in that amount of time.
Thank you.
And the amount that you are spreading your message. You're helping other people spread theirs and their art and what they have to say. So thank you so much, Chelsea. This is really, really
Thank you for having me.
It was so nice meeting you. Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the good stuff.